Welcome back to the second hour of LoveBabz LoveTalk. Waiting for my great guest to come, Ash Fure. I can't wait to talk to them to hear about all this interesting concept of sound and sensory. So I expect they'll be popping on any minute now. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, I'm feeling pretty good. The weather, although today I think the weather's going to be a little bit challenging. I think rainy, not rainy, sunny, not sunny, that kind of thing. So let me tell you a little bit about Ash. I talked a little bit about her, them, they, she earlier in the first hour, but I want to go to her website. So so on our website, Ash Fure is a sonic artist who blends installation and performance, called Purely Visceral and Staggeringly Original by the New Yorker. Fure's full-body sonic experiences work on the senses in startling ways. The recipient of 2 Lincoln Center Emerging Artist Awards, not 1, but 2, and a Guggenheim Fellowship, a Rome Prize in Music Composition, a DAAD Artist in Berlin Prize, a Foundation for Contemporary Arts grant for artists, a Fulbright Fellowship to France, a Stuttgart Composition Prize, a Darmstadt Kronicksteiner Music Prize, and a Mellon Postdoctoral Fellowship from Columbia University. Fure holds a PhD in music composition from Harvard University, is Associate Professor of Music at Dartmouth College, and was named co-artistic director of the Industry LA in 2021. So busy and celebrated. Excuse my cough. Busy and celebrated. So I'm looking forward to hearing about what animal is. And it opened a benefit concert for the kitchen at Town Hall Theater in New York on April 23rd of this year, 2023. And then there was a long play on Sunday, May 7th at the Mark Morris Dance Center. So she's busy. There's a lot going on here. So I'm interested in hearing about how do you gather people to listen to music at this level, and what does that look like, and what does that mean, and what is the expectation of and the experience of this kind of listening. I'm fascinated by it. So anyway, I'm waiting for her to pop in and join the discussion, the conversation. I don't know if she's on the East Coast or the West Coast. I know she's got her performances kick off on the 21st at the Schwartzman Center through the 28th. But I don't know if she's here or traveling or whatever. So I mean, she picked a gorgeous time of year to come to Connecticut. It's a lovely time of year. So we'll see what happens. Oh, okay. So they're just trying to figure out where their artist is. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. We'll figure it out. So anyway, while they locate her, She has the information. She can log in from anywhere. I hope she's not trying to go look for she can log in from her phone. That's the beauty of all this virtual stuff. You can just log in from wherever you at and be a part of the conversation. So yeah, I didn't pull up any of her music from YouTube or anything like that. So I don't know what it was. I don't know what it's like because I haven't listened to it. I don't know if it's something that I could pull up and listen to. They didn't send me any tracks. So I'm just imagining that it's one of these things that you have to experience it. So anyway, they try to do some cool stuff at the Schwarzman Center. They're trying to bring some stuff that you ain't never seen before to the Schwarzman, which I kind of dig. Yeah, Maurice wants to jump on that. Yeah, come on. Maurice could jump on because he could talk about this, because I bet you that would be helpful. That would be good. Yeah, so, and he could talk about this kind of music, because Maurice is an artist too, and innovative and doing interesting things with sound and visuals and senses. So I bet you he could talk about this all day. So I think Maurice is going to jump on. We're going to talk about this performance and see how it goes. Because I'm curious about it, because I want to understand it. I want to understand what it's about, because it's one of these things where you just you hear people doing innovative stuff that's never been done, and you're like, wow. And I'm fascinated by people's artistic conceptualization of things, like how they figure out how to do this, that they hear something, does something strike them, and it's like, because when you listen to music anyway, you listen to it with your whole self. So I'm fascinated by that. So Maurice will jump on and he'll set me right. he'll get me thinking about this in just the right sort of way, so that I could wrap my brain around this, and hopefully that'll work out. So yes, now that'd be great. Thank you. I'm controlling the weight room, because Harry has to step away. And so here is Maurice, who is a musician in his own right, and loves to sort of is a great creator and innovator of sound. So hey, Maurice, nice to see you.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Thank you for jumping in and talking about this, because Maurice, if anybody would know about this kind of immersive music sensory kind of thing, it might just be you.
I've been looking forward to this immersive sensory thing. In fact, this has been a long time coming for us, and I'm really excited to see what Ash has created. I don't know if you recall this, because this wasn't very widely publicized, but Ash did get a chance last academic year to come in and explore the space, and even give a few members of the Schwarzman Center team a little sampling of the kind of work that they might do in a space as unique, acoustically unique as the Dome. So I really think this is going to be a treat.
Okay, so I mean, Ash has a lot of credentials. I would imagine it's genius level kind of stuff, right? Like, this is genius level kind of stuff. So so you all commissioned this particular piece. It's called Animal,
a listening gym. And so the animal component is the part that you will indeed need to experience. The listening gym piece, I think, is a bit easier to explain, but also indeed something that is going to be certainly worth stopping by at the Schwarzman Center. So the listening gym, you think about, and it's often been described as a HIIT workout for the senses. This idea of going into a gym and having these stations that are set up, these instruments, I'm going to use hard quotes here, these instruments that are physically engaging and then bring the room alive with sound and can be played in concert with one another as people are working out, so to speak, in the gym.
Wow. So so you've not seen this happen yet? It's going to happen.
I've seen a teaser of this happening. So I have a little bit of an idea on the Schwarzman Center website. You go to schwarzman.yale.edu under events and then click on Ash Fure. You will see there's a little video that you can play that will give you just enough to whet your appetite to come in and try it out on your own.
So what was it about Ash Fure that made y'all say, commission a piece and come do it over here? Like, what was it about that work?
Yeah, so this particular work, we were really fortunate that it came in through our collaboration with Bryce Dessner. As you may know, Bryce Dessner has a multi-year residency, an artist in residence in music here at the Schwarzman Center, and Ash Fure was one of the artists that was curated, as we like to say, by Bryce Dessner here at the center. You may also remember prior to Ash Fure was Nathalie Joachim, and Nathalie Joachim of Von Lamb. They sort of inaugurated the Dome, with the first public performance there with Space, a beautiful, more classically based piece. And now here we are on literally the opposite end of the spectrum with something that is very technologically involved, very contemporary, but brought to us by the same curator, which is really interesting.
So this is just the thing that the Dome could shine at.
I think so. I think that, this is so we've often described the Dome as this black box theater, except white and round. The idea of it being a very experimental space where these types of immersive performances can happen, or the type of performances that might be difficult to place anywhere else, that really require a unique and unconventional space. I think that this is certainly an example of that. We're not talking about a performance that requires or really can even sort of be done in a traditional seated environment, something that does require sort of some openness and some flexibility for people to move around, for us to have the objects that they can interact with in that space. So I think that this is definitely something that the Dome is really designed for.
Wow. And so Ash will be here from, I guess it kicks off on the 21st through the 28th?
The 21st through the 28th. So the live performances for Ash, if you go out to the schedule and you check out a live performance, click on that register link, and you see that you are on the wait list, I would still strongly encourage, sign up for the wait list, come out for the performance. We're finding that we've had great success getting folks into the performances, even when the performances are waitlisted. But even beyond that, there's the live performance piece, but then there is the listening gym piece. We call it gym mode. So when the exhibition or the instruments go into gym mode, any visitor can come in during any time that the gym is open, the listening gym is open, and explore those instruments, explore those scenes with either in a self-guided mode or with other individuals there who are trained on the equipment. And I would say that a visit to the listening gym is roughly about 30 minutes.
It's interesting. So this is like two things. You have the performance of Ash.
Yes.
Which is its own thing. And then this gym performance, which is its own thing.
Yes. Yeah, and there is a third thing. For those who may be even more interested in some of the academic thought or some of the more technical aspects of the program, we also have a thing called Dancing About Architecture. So Dancing About Architecture for the Schwarzman Center has been an ongoing event series where we talk about, where we put artists in conversation with folks from the academic community and professionals in practice around their work and its relation to bodies in space and the architecture, and how the architecture is designed in ways that either they have to work against change or that work very much for them and can help them to produce these sorts of experiences for audiences. And so there will be an iteration of Dancing About Architecture with Ash that takes place on October 24th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. That also is on the event website, so folks can register for that as well.
Well, I knew if anybody could like set the tone for this conversation, it would be you, Maurice. So here's Ash.
Hi guys, I'm so sorry. We're in the midst of install and it just slipped my radar, so forgive me.
You're just upstairs. We've been looking all over the corners of the earth.
We're in the dome room, yeah, but it's awesome. Very loud out there. Let me just quickly get these headphones attached.
You're great. I will stop by a little later and say hello. But I know that you're
here we are.
Hi. Yeah. I was just telling Babz a little bit about, or at least what I know of the coming engagement, a little bit about the listening gym piece, a little bit about the animal piece. I had suggested that folks check out the preview on the website for a teaser of what's to come. But you may want to talk a little bit more about animal and the inspiration behind it. I feel like you are uniquely positioned to talk about the inspiration.
Sure. And I'm happy to be here. So happy to meet you, Babz.
It is nice to meet you. Listen, I'm so impressed because
by
everything. I'm reading your bio on your website and I'm thinking Guggenheim and all the things. I'm like, you're like genius level kind of artist. Like,
I don't know about that. I appreciate that thought,
it's very impressive. Thanks. So I just wanted to say
Thanks. Well, I appreciate that. And, a lot of those awards I got in a different phase in my career where I was working with string quartets and orchestras. And I've really, as I've grown as an artist, really wanted to find spaces where I can build my own instruments and create my own worlds and really work with sound, but in a way that's outside of that traditional format. So it's been really incredible to be here in the Dome Room because we really get access to this space for 2.5 full weeks. We're building out an entire installation that's really kind of enter an alternate universe. And as much as I love cellos and violins and have spent much of my life with them, there's not a single kind of icon of that Western music really in this space. It's fully alternate reality.
So oh my God, I can't wait to see. Now I'm all excited, right?
Okay, good.
I just came off an Afrofuturism summit.
Amazing.
So this feels very much in that realm of this universe that you can create, and you're doing it with sound and sensory kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is, no more direct way to the cosmos for me than through sound. So it feels like a futurist project for sure. All
right, so tell me the name animal. Like what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, so my work has really been about the body for a very long time. And what I mean is that it works structurally on a visceral way. Like it pushes at the skin, it pushes at the gut much more than it's arranging notes into patterns and into structures like we might think of in more traditional music. So visceral kind of sound has been at the core for a long time. I think I've been thinking a lot lately inside of that focus on the body about really what the sensory capacities we have as animals means for this moment of collective risk, and also on a species-wide level, collective risk, and also really what being animal means in the face of chatbots and AI that's coming, and all of this sort of, there's been some really interesting takes on, the hubris of human exceptionalism and our distance from other species and from other sort of aspects of the ecology around us have really been about this kind of like presumption of our cognitive superiority. Like we're more rational, we're more smart, we can solve problems faster, we have ethics, we have morals. And now we have these forces, these alien intelligences, these artificial intelligences that are vastly outperforming us already and will be more and more. But they can't birth babies. They can't feel wind. They can't touch water. They can't, right? So there's this kind of turning towards our sensory capacities that feels very pressing right now. And I think that's where the work you see that I'll be performing the part of the experience that I perform, it's a highly, highly physical engagement. So yes, it's digital sound. Yes, it's electricity pumping through speaker cones, but the way I perform it is intensely athletic. And it's this really feeling my animal self kind of in this hyperly mediated moment.
Wow. So since you brought up AI, I mean, are you one of these people that will embrace AI? Are you afraid of it? Do you fear it? Do you think we're going down a path? Do you think it needs to be contained or monitored or policed?
Yeah, I think yes to all of those things. And I'm also excited by the deep reflection that like the challenge it poses to our sense of self as humans. And I actually think that it can crack some light into some rigid senses of what we are and why we are superior that could be really productive in turning us back towards a more relational frame and turning us back towards a more sense of our shared aliveness.
So how did you come to this deep thinking about a different way to express sound and sensory? Like, how did you come to this? Like, what was the moment that shifted?
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint. I think in some ways I've always had a really intimate relationship with sound. I mean, I've been composing since I was really, really young. But I'm really nowadays like, I mean, this is where I think there is an interesting link in the kind of, and you see this all across Afrofuturism, sort of speaking of Afrofuturism, but the way that this like forward thinking links back cyclically to the ancient past, or these kind of symbols from, Egypt, if we're thinking about certain icons of Afrofuturism. But I too am like really interested in the way sound was used as really a species technology, like the way sound was in every ancient human culture, no matter the continent, there were practices around shared movement and around shared rhythm and shared sound that were used to fortify the herd and like increase cohesion, increase co-regulation, and enact catharsis and really these like intense sensory rituals that helped us come together and I think are really a part of our strength as a species, that coming together. There's the famous kind of like human versus lion, good luck human, like lion versus 100 humans, good luck lion. Like our strength is only in our ability to communicate and collaborate and enact this kind of shared trust and this shared planning. And I think that trust and that relationality is under siege right now, is deeply fractured. I think we are, our attention spans are under siege. I think we're radically disembodied and disassociated from our bodies in a way that is really, really, making that ability to sense one another and really be with the risk of right now, this kind of urgent moment on our planet, even more, it makes that even more out of reach.
So this sounds very medical. Like this sounds like this could be used in a healthcare situation, because we've all seen the studies where people with a dementia or Alzheimer's, they might not remember people, but if you play a piece of music and it brings them back to whenever they heard that music and they are quite in that space. So it sounds like that's what I hear when I'm listening to you talk about this music that puts us back into our maybe our ancestral connections to the earth. Very indigenous feeling, I think.
I mean, yeah, there's no greater wisdoms, I think, that we need to turn to right now than all of those. Ancient insights that I think, and this is sort of what I mean about that, like, there's a lot of apocalypse in AI in terms of where it could take us, but I also think it can turn us back into a kind of relationality with the living, with the sentient, with the stuff of earth that we can touch and be with, in a way that like turns us back actually towards those ancient insights, which have been, so obliterated by Western culture.
So who is your audience, Ash? Like, is there a lot of musicians out there that are doing what you're doing? Like, are you part of a collective? Like, I mean, I heard Maurice play that whole sense, music, sensory, visual artistry.
Mhm.
And that's the first time I've ever seen anything quite like that. So, and I dug it. So you feel like, you know, you're in that vein, but maybe the nth degree of that. So who's listening to you?
So, to be totally honest, I'm in a kind of moment of creative evolution. I really grew up through the kind of world of contemporary music, and so writing, making string quartets and orchestras sound as noisy as I could possibly make them sound. And I have a PhD in music composition. And so my early career was really working with ensembles, some of the finest in the land. And again, like I could get them to make really specific noise and elaborate, really intricate structures that I would notate on scores. But eventually I just felt too constricted by the kind of format of the concert music ritual. So we have a piece and we clap, and we have a piece and it's on the stage and the audience sits here. And, you know, those parts of the scripting really felt, they were holding me back. And eventually, instead of just detuning a double bass string 3 octaves till it slapped against its sort of the wood part of its body, I started making 100-foot double bass strings that were made out of braided aircraft cable and like stretched up over these 5-foot styrofoam bridges. And those gave me these wild multiphonics and this just like scale of vibration that felt so much bigger than the human, and like really felt like this ability for me to think past, again, this maybe more 19th century or like the way we've thought about music as entertainment or as this edification of the elite. And we go there to feel cultured, and we go there to feel, you know, seen. That really emerges in the 1500s, and then kind of catalyzes in the 1700s and 1800s into those orchestral halls, and this notion of this composer being separate from the performer. And yeah, I wanted to break through all of that. So it's been a collective process. There are some beautiful listeners and vibrational sound makers who will be with me in this performance. In this experience, it's really not a performance because the audience actively engages in the entire installation. But one of them is a really brilliant vocalist and vocal artist named Samita Sinha, who also works with vibration, comes from a very different lineage, comes through Indian classical music and has studied Indian vocal traditions for many years, but similarly kind of took those traditions and broke them up into their most kind of primary vibratory DNA and works through that to activate this vibratory field. So there are, I think, lone rangers when we find ourselves in wherever this netherworld is, but I would love it if you named a genre that this work kind of articulates, because I'm not sure what that word is yet. You let me know after you experience it.
I'm looking forward to it. I was intrigued because once I started reading about what you were doing and what you are, it just sounds so groundbreaking and so innovative. Like this is just like, from the musicians I know, this is where they want to be. They want to be in this place of, I'm really creating something outside the boundaries of what I've been taught. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I do. And I think what I'm excited about, this is the first time. So I've been building my own instruments now, and instruments maybe even too small a word for what these things are. They're sound making machines. And what is special about them, one of the things that I find really special about them is that they're the phenomena that they produce are actually quite accessible, in the sense that like you don't have to have studied Bach on the marimba for 15 years to be able to perform with these instruments. You can really just like walk up and touch and feel the polyrhythms emerge. And of course, there's a range of familiarity. I think the way that I play them after having worked with them for years is, of course, there's a leap in kind of nuance, but they're quite immediate as sensations. And so This experience, the listening gym, is the first time I'm actually inviting the audience up to touch these instruments, to really engage them physically, to have agency in performing them together and listening together as this kind of emergent organism that's moving in the space, that has agency to make decisions in the space. So they are, I think, both in some other plane as a kind of instrumental force, but they're also really on the ground with us, because you don't need a PhD from wherever to be able to make it happen. They meet us right where we are, I think.
Oh, that's good to know. So people won't be afraid, be like, oh, I don't think I feel qualified to like touch
No.
All right. Okay, so the performance begins, or the experience begins October 21st, and it runs
That's right.
through the 28th. And then
That's
all
right.
between you're gonna be performing, and then people can have the gym experience without having you be the gym instructor.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's like show mode and gym mode is sort of how we're thinking of the space.
Oh, I love
so
it. I love it.
Yeah. Sometimes the space is just open, like you would like an installation at a museum. You can come in wherever you want, stay as long as you want. There will be some members of this listening squad in there kind of working out the gym and there to sort of be with you. But it's you kind of map your own time arc through it. And then I think we're doing 5 total shows. And these are also activated spaces where the audience is working the circuit with us. But they are more collective experiences. So folks will come, the evening shows start at 7:30. We'll all gather together. We'll come inside. The guides or the kind of facilitators with me, we will work the circuit. I will perform animal. There will be these moments of kind of more witnessing and listening from that space of stillness. And there will be these moments where the crowd is really invited as they wish, unforced participation. These things are really beautiful also to just watch somebody else do. But whoever's got the spirit and who's ever got the urge and wants to come up and try one or roll underneath this thing or put their hand or their body on them, they're there as an invitation and as an offering.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Ash Fure. I am so excited by this. Thank you, Maurice, for priming the pump for this conversation.
You're very welcome.
My apologies for being a few minutes late, guys.
It's fine. Maurice was a great you. He really was.
Amazing.
So, Babz, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. So we've got a listening gym on the 25th. We also have performances on the 26th and 27th. On the 26th and 27th, the Well, our 21 and up pub on the lower level, will also be open from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. So I think before or after Ash Fure's performances, you can meet me and grab a drink down.
Oh, I love it. Oh, you don't say less. Say less. I'm good. Well, I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to look at my calendar and figure out when I could get one of these experiences in, because now my interest is piqued. Thank you, Ash Fure. You are so talented.
I appreciate you so much. And I can't wait to meet you in just a couple of days.
Yes. Thank you, Maurice. I'll see you at the Well.
Take care.
All right. Enjoy your Monday.
Bye.
This was good. All right. So I guess I'm going to look at my calendar and figure out what I'm going to do. In the meantime, I'm on my way out. Thank you, Harry Droz. Tomorrow, I do believe there is a guest. Harry, Sylvester Salcido is coming on. It's Filipino Heritage Month. Remember Sylvester? So he's coming on tomorrow morning at 10:15, and we're going to talk about Filipino Heritage Month. So tune in tomorrow. I'll be back. I'll see y'all.